Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm back here at Irvine Lake. You can see Dave there is with me this morning. And I purchased this bait chamber on Amazon the other day, and I'm going to be testing it out. You might be wondering, what the heck is a bait chamber? Well, I'll be carp fishing today, and I'll show you how it's used. Here I've opened up the package, and you'll see affixed to the chamber are a couple of hooks, and they use braided line, which I'm not a big fan of, so I ended up removing one of the hooks and replacing it. While I was working on re-rigging that bait chamber, Dave had cast a power bait way out there in the middle of the lake, and he hooked into this nice rainbow trout. This looked like one of those Nebraska tailwalker trout. Good size. I finally finished the re-rigging. Basically, I just replaced the braided line with 6-pound test. You'll see here is the dough bait that I made overnight, which is essentially just breadcrumbs, strawberry jello, and sweet corn all mixed together. The chamber was designed to hold the dough bait in place, right above the hook. You'll get a better look at it right here. You can see the dough bait completely covers the chamber, and below it I have the baited hook with sweet corn. So the idea behind this is to cast this rig as far out towards the middle of the lake as you can. Once it settles on the bottom, the bait breaks apart and the carp it attracts the carp who start feeding on it. So the idea is to attract them and then hook them with that sweet corn. You'll see that I am using my saltwater gear. The carp in this lake are huge. So I know this is overkill. I have like 20 or 30 pound tests on this line, which is why I re-rigged it with 6-pound test. Here's my first strike. Boy, it's fun catching these carp. Once they inhale that bait, they just take off running, and he was peeling drag. Look at the bend in my pole. And this is a really stiff pole that I use for saltwater fishing, and look at the bend. Unfortunately, that 6-pound test was not enough. He ended up just snapping that leader. So I lost this fish and end up having to retie another hook to the bait chamber. As I'm doing that, Dave hooks into another rainbow trout. This one's a bit smaller, but that power bait is doing the job. Soon after that, I get my second strike. Again, this fish just starts peeling drag. Look at the bend in the pole. But the 6-pound test just wasn't cutting it. He ends up snapping my leader again. As I'm retying my line, Dave hooks into yet another rainbow trout. You could see him as he reels this guy in. He's using 4-pound tests, so there's no danger of losing the fish as I net this guy, and Dave gets to add him to his stringer. Here is my third strike, and again, look at the bend in that pole as the fish just starts pulling away. Now the difference here is that I replaced the 6-pound test with a 30-pound leader, so he wasn't about to break this line. Unfortunately, I know that I had the drag set too tight because I ended up just yanking that hook right out of his mouth. I was 0 for 3 today on carp. So at this point, it's well past noon and we decide to pack things up. As you can see, a lot of people have already left, and you can see Dave there putting things away. If you're going to fish this lake, I highly recommend that you bring a cart like this. Dave and I loaded this thing with over 50 pounds of gear. So remember, it's over a mile to get from the parking lot to the prime fishing area here on the West Shore. When I first returned to this lake a month or two ago, I lugged everything on my back, and boy, it was a chore just to get to the fishing spot. The cart makes a huge difference. And there's the park ranger making her rounds. Realize you can only use one pole per person on this lake. You can't fish two poles, so you need to be careful. They do watch you here. And this is my return to the parking lot. You'll see that the parking meter there, it's only $5 to fish this lake. You just have to pay for parking, so not a bad deal. You just have to remember it is a hike to get from the lot to the good fishing spots there on the west shore. Well, thanks you guys for watching, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up.